Welcome to the show. I'm Danella, and here's what's happening right now. All of you guys hopefully had an amazing Thanksgiving. Some of you were crazy enough to go out in Black Friday. And do you know what the Trump administration did? Well, they released our climate report on Black Friday, hoping to bury it. In political pop, Trump says he's too intelligent to believe in climate change. We'll hear what scientists have to say about that. And in our world, we are a world in peril. Literally, if you haven't heard about this, we'll talk about it. Just how poorly the world is responding to climate change and how that will impact you. Not somebody else, not your kids' kids. Yes, your kids' kids, but us right now. We'll definitely talk about that in this upcoming show. But right now, let's just talk about this whole notion of Black Friday. Because did you see this on social media where people were really fighting each other, literally fighting each other, trampling one another, brawling to get, sales? That's crazy to me. And I think about it. For so many years, I had this life where, especially when I was first starting out in radio, you had to be on all the time as much as you could. And when you were starting out, you had to work holidays, right? Because when the full-time the full-time radio personalities are off, that's your time to shine. You better get in there, work as hard as you can, hoping to get more shifts. So for so many years, I worked so many holidays. And so, Thanksgiving, for example, Christmas too would be set up in my family around, well, what time is your shift? Okay, well, then that means we can eat at this time. And that's just what we did. But for Black Friday, I can't imagine, you guys eat your dinner and then you're like, all right, peace, family. I got to run out to the mall and fight for these gifts and these sales. It just seems crazy to me. But what's even crazier is that Trump released our climate report on Black Friday in hopes of burying it. So before we talk about that, that's coming up a little bit more in our world, we're going to kick off political pop. And here is your political pop. Trump says he's too intelligent to believe in climate change. Yes, he actually said that in a recent Washington Post article. He says, one of the problems that a lot of people like myself, we have very high levels of intelligence, but we're not necessarily such believers, okay? He also says this, you look at our air and our water, and it's right now at a record clean. It's so crazy. I don't have to say it's crazy. Literal scientists are saying it's crazy. Here's one now, Marshall Shepard. He says, science doesn't care what we believe. If you are in the top of the building and fall, gravity is still a thing, whether you believe in it or not. That's a good point. Michael Mann, he says this, it's almost satire. Everything our president says is foolish nonsense, and it constitutes malicious ignorance. I didn't say it, he did, but we're all thinking it, right? I'm DanellaNOW, and that was your political pop. So that's Black Friday. Trump releases that report. And then, did you see this? This was Saturday. More than 140 stranded whales have died in New Zealand. Oh, this is crazy and sad. I hate to show you guys this, but a hiker found the whales Saturday off the coast of New Zealand. They said half of the whales were already dead, and then the other ones they had to euthanize because there was no way they would have survived. So whether it is, and people are all estimating because a lot of the whales get beached, they're saying some of it has to do with the dark, murky water, and all of a sudden they're on land and they can't get themselves back to the ocean. Other people say that also because of the oil drilling, they release sonic booms underwater, and whales get their navigation by sonar and that throws them off. The other thing that people say too, when they cut open the bellies and they see all of the plastic, tons and tons of plastic inside of their bodies. And so you really have to start asking yourself, how much longer can things happen before you say, okay, now, even if I'm doing something little, it's making an impact. All right, so let's talk about this climate report. I saw this on Black Friday. It's really our report card on climate change. What are we doing? What's happening to our Earth, our planet? And the Trump administration pushed scientists to release this report weeks early. It was due to come out 2 weeks later, but instead, Trump was like, come on, let's get this out just in time for Black Friday. So while everybody else was reheating Thanksgiving leftovers, visiting family, since I'm in town, might as well come to your house and visit you again. How you been? When we were doing all those kind of things, here's what you may have missed. In our world this week, climate change is affecting us right now. We are headed for disaster if we do not do something now. Reports across the globe all say the same thing, literally say the same thing. We're going to talk about it. Why it was buried onto the news to be released in Black Friday is because the message is quite clear. So back in 2015 with the Paris Accord Agreement, the deal was to try to keep your greenhouse gases between 1.5 degrees Celsius and 2. So all the reports are coming back that we're terribly higher than that, like 3.5, something like that. And I'm not going to get too technical because a lot of you guys are like, I don't know. It might be fake or it's boring. And it might sound to you like I'm saying blah, 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 blah. But here's something you do understand. What is happening right now because we are not doing enough. And when we say the government has to start instituting new restrictions and guidelines for us all to start being better and treating our planet better. Here's what we're in for. You might have noticed it. I know I have. Increased mosquitoes. I'll start light. That's light. Nobody who's like, yay, more mosquitoes. But yeah, that's definitely already happening now. Record heat waves. We're seeing that already. Every summer, spring, I'm coming to you saying this area had a heat wave. This area is the hottest it's ever been. What happens with more heat waves? What are we seeing? Fires, right? California experiencing the worst fire they've ever seen. Landslides. And so, we start nitpicking, like, is it man-made? Is it climate? We're nitpicking all these things. And the truth is we have to start doing things immediately now for ourselves. And we have to stop. I don't know. I don't want to say we have to stop allowing Trump to say these things because he's a human. He can say whatever he wants. But I just think we need to be really clear about not believing it and also be really clear about not ignoring it. So I urge you, if there is some small way that your family can make a difference, whether it is making the decision to say, you know what, I go to the grocery store every day. All these little bags that I can't recycle that are plastic, I'm going to bring them with me and drop them off at the grocery store to recycle. That's something minor, but can drastically help our oceans. And even just looking at your trash and seeing how much stuff you can reuse. I never, ever reused anything. I hate to say it, but I just didn't. I would just always buy something. And I'm grateful, one, for my husband. And he's West Indian. He was like, nothing goes to waste. Nothing goes to waste. He will always say that. And not that we were wasteful, but I wasn't thinking like, for example, my family kind of did this and I hate it. But for example, we used to eat Cool Whip. Cool Whip? And so I would go into the freezer and I'd open it up thinking, I can add this Cool Whip. And it would be like some frozen beans, some black-eyed peas. It would make me so mad. So as I got older, I just was like, okay, I'm not reusing this plastic anymore because it would make me think that it was these goodies that I didn't have. And so it would make me upset. Think about it. Country Crock. Did you guys eat country crock butter? I can't even say it. It's making me laugh so many times. I would open the fridge as a kid and be like, cabbage? Ugh. I just want to butter my toast. So anyway, now that I'm older, I'm finding, first of all, we don't buy a lot of plastic stuff anymore. We shop more fresh, but I'm finding more ways since I have my son of reusing things. Like, he eats so much yogurt. I'll get a big thing. We use a coconut coconut milk yogurt. So it's a huge thing. I'm like, oh, it's a pencil holder. Oh, I could use we had a gallon tub of popcorn. I'm like, this gallon tub of popcorn, we can now use this to collect all the little cars you have. This will be the car one. And this we can put little paints in. And so for me, it's just about trying to find ways to use things more than once and reducing the amount of trash that we're setting out twice a week, I should say. All right. So yeah, pretty much in our world, the big news is a huge climate report came out. I'm sure you're seeing it in the news. Please take time to really see what we're in for, how our planet is being affected, and then think on yourself. What is even just one thing you can do? I mean, there's so many things you can do, but just saying, here's something new I can do. One new thing. Can you do that for me? Try. Because it's scary, man. It is truly scary. All right, that's going to wrap up in our world for this week. And before we wrap up the show, I have to say, starting Monday, December 3rd, I will be joining a new talk radio show. Yes, myself and two amazing brothers of mine. If you're in the DC area, you know this guy, Aladdin the Prince, as well as Big Zoe. The three of us will be on Radio 1's WOL. Yes, if you're in the DC area, FM 95.9. This is actually the first station that Miss Kathy Hughes has owned. And, that's where she did her iconic show. And so it's exciting to be on the radio talk platform. And, there's been so much pre-production in this that I've been working on. It's been a while since I've done some radio production. Yes, it's been a while, but it's exciting. I got to flex my comedic muscle as well as my editing muscle in radio format. And I haven't done that in a while. So it feels really good. And the show is called Adverse Reaction. We interrupt your regularly scheduled talk show. It's time for something new.
Adverse reaction.
Adverse reaction.
Adverse reaction.
Adverse reaction.
Y'all ready? Open up your mind, let your conscience free. Adverse reaction is the voice of the streets.
With Big Zoe.
Big Zoe in the house.
Curators, don't duplicate us.
Danella, C-Lock, Vinyl.
Danella's in the house.
Still here, never left. Still making snacks.
And Aladdin.
Wish, make a heart, break a long hair, mother lover.
It's a movement. Weeknights, 7 p.m. on WOL.
WOL 1450 AM.
95.9 FM.
Where information is power. I'm super excited. I hope you join us. So if you're in the DC area, Monday, December 3rd, we will be launching. We're weekdays starting 7 p.m. Yeah. And you can also listen online on iTunes. I'll give you more information about that next week. So yeah, just want to put a bug in your ear. Monday, 7 p.m. goes down. I hope I make it. If you want to email me Danella at DanellaNOW.com, on social media at DanellaNOW. Thank you so much for joining again this week. If you decide to be with me and just do one small thing to leave a smaller footprint, carbon footprint on this earth, less waste, think about it. All right. As always, I hope you have an incredible weekend, and I will see you next week.